Welcome to the Courage to Be podcast. I am your host, Tanya Vasallo. Someone recently asked me, how do you know when it's a sign and when it's just wishful thinking? And I've been sitting a lot with this because it's been showing up in my own life these last couple of weeks. I'm not going to say this week because it's kind of all been leading up to these weeks. But what happened to us is trying to understand and navigate Bali and finding a home before we arrive there. And my way of doing it, if I would have gotten there mid-July, like 3 weeks before school started, I would have chosen to go live 1 week, rent an Airbnb in one of the areas near the beach where the families live in Ubud, in the center, a different area where many families live. And then finally live near the school where also many families live. And that way we could get the experience, since we've never been there, to see, to just kind of get a feel for what is it that we want to experience. Do we want to be in a more beachy area, more in a yoga, spiritual / artistic area, or do we want to just jump in and connect with the families from the school? And so we kept going back and forth. I mean, for the last 6 months since we made this decision, at first we were like, oh yeah, let's go live in the Canggu area, where the beach is, we are going to an island. And then we're like, but it's a surfer beach. We're not surfers. I might learn how to surf, but that's not who we are right now. Then other days we'd wake up and we'd be like, oh, let's go live in Ubud. That's the, more tranquil. We're artists. And I mean, it's city and it's buzzing too, but it's in the jungle and it's a closer commute to school. And then as I've gotten to know this other woman, because I've been in contact with many families that are attending the school that have already been living in Bali for many years, and I've become friends with another woman, and we've just been chatting, through WhatsApp for the last month, and I've just been bombarding her with questions, like what kind of things should we bring? Should we bring medicines, like Dayquil or ibuprofen, or can I bring my essential oils? Like just all these questions, because you don't know what the landscape's like there and what we might need. And, just how does she move around? What was her backstory? Because I'm just getting to know her. And she shared with me her story and why she lives where she's at. There's a lot of families living near the school, so it's very multicultural. They love the idea of like certain nights they'll have dinners with other families and from other locations. And it started opening up my eyes to, oh yeah, that would be a great experience to have our daughter be able to walk to school. She's never had that experience. To be able to have other families that she can go and have play dates, just walking to other people's houses, because where we live right now, there's no other kids in the neighborhood. So anytime that she wants to play with anyone and she doesn't have siblings, we have to get in the car and drive her to the play date. And we're only going to be there for a year, maybe 2, if we're loving it and everything goes well. So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe the school, I was talking with Ben, with my husband, and we keep getting it narrowed down to that. I like the idea of avoiding all the traffic and just being able to deal with the traffic on the weekends once we want to go out and explore the island. And so I was like, okay, yeah, that's resonating. And I'm telling you this whole story, but this has been a process of weeks, of coming to this conclusion. And finally, about 2 weeks ago, I was asking her about inventory and houses in this area. And there's not a lot of inventory. And I asked her too, like, what does she do for a living? She told me she had a marketing company that they were trying to slow down, and that they started developing. They'd buy land and they were developing some homes on it. So in this first phase of homes that they're being finished now in July, they're already August 1st. She had 4 families already commit to renting the place August 1st. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's great. Too bad, there's nothing there. Well, a week after asking that, she let me know that one of the houses opened up. And so that was a sign for me. I was like, okay, well, maybe this was meant to be, like she's been put in my path and let me check the house. So we kept looking at the house. The only inconvenience with it was, do we sign up and say yes to this house without having seen it beforehand? Ben and I have lived in 13 different homes and in 7 different cities. And the majority of them we've seen beforehand. Like we need to feel, we need to see, we need to hear the noise around it. We need to see who the neighbors are. And but I just kept getting the nudge. She was sharing with me that they were going to do a blessing of the house because we've been in the whole process of the building of the homes. And so 2 days before the blessing, I sent her a message like, "Oh, congrats on the blessing." So I got the day wrong. And she's like, "No, the blessing's this Thursday." And the more I kept sitting with this, I shared with Ben, I was like, "I think we should stay at this house and just snatch it because it's going to disappear." And he's like, "No, we can't come with lack mentality. We've always been lucky with houses and we need to get there, see it, and then commit to it." And I was like, okay, he's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't do these things like this. And then I was sharing with another friend, and she said the same thing. She's like, yeah, there's plenty of homes. She's been to Bali. There's plenty of homes and stuff. But the more I was sitting with it, I sat with it for a week, and my intuition, my just kept nudging at me, take it, take it, take it, even though you haven't seen the place, because it's got all the other advantages of what you want. It's brand new. It's next to the school. It's yada, yada, yada. And so I finally spoke to Ben, and the day that they did the blessing of the house, we decided to go with them. And I'm like, okay, yes, we're going to do it. Even though we haven't seen the house, we've just some videos and stuff, but it was like a peace of mind. And this week we were supposed to sign the contract and put the deposit. And we find out that all payments are upfront. So we're renting it for 6 months and they want the whole rent of the 6 months upfront. And this is very typical in Bali. Like people want your whole year of rent upfront. And so I'm like, oh my God, is this the right thing? So now I start second guessing myself, even though the signs have been very clear. And so we continued with this. And I started asking other families, I'm like, is this normal? Because now I'm second guessing my new friend, like, oh, she's just trying to get it rented. Even though she was never pushy from the beginning, she was just sharing her experience. So it just showed up. And so I started asking other people, and a lot of people were like, no, wait until you get there. Some of them did tell me like that there is low inventory in Sibang in that area. And most of them are a year lease, so we're kind of lucky. That was the second sign when we asked if we could do a 6-month lease instead of a year, and they said yes. And so even though I wasn't listening clearly because I got scared when they said it's all up front, I started talking to a realtor that works with the families at the school, and she showed me another home nearby the school, 2-minute walk, much bigger and beautiful pool where I could practice my swimming and stuff. But there was a disclosure, an asterisk that there's construction going on around. So now I'm reaching out to people and I'm like, is there a lot of construction going on here? And what is it like? And da 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 da. And I finally even talked to my friend, and I was completely transparent with her. I'm like, look, I really wanted to go, but this whole thing of paying it all up front, is there any way that we can negotiate a little bit of a lower price? Which that's a whole other conversation that I could have. One of the phrases that my dad always used to say to us is, you don't get in life what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And so I did apply it to this, and we made it a win-win-win for all of us. And finally, I shared with her that there was this other house available, and she shared with me, like, I think I know what house it is, the construction, just keep in mind that it's right next to the bathrooms, that the construction workers might be peeking in. I had a friend that had a shower and bathing suit, for a whole year because she had the people living next, like the workers living there and working all day. And she sent me a video this morning, and she said, here's the house and here's what it looks like. I was so thankful that she went out of her way and shared that with us. And it just reconfirmed, follow the signs. It's like that story when they say this person was drowning and he was at the top of a building. So he climbs up to the top of the building because water keeps rising, and he's praying to God, please, please come and save me, God, and so a boat goes by and he's like, no, no, I'm waiting for God to come and save me. Another boat goes by and he's like, do you want us to help you out? No, no, I'm waiting for God to save me. Finally, the helicopter goes by. Do you want us to save you? No, no, I'm waiting for God to save me. And then he reaches heaven because obviously he dies. The water took over. And he's like, why didn't you save me, God? And he's like, I sent you 3 different people, but this person did not follow the signs. So I take it as a sign that we're in the right place. It's going to be fabulous to have a soft landing, to be able to just integrate with school and move on from that. So I share all this with you because not every sign makes sense at first. And we do have to listen to our intuition and pay attention, and also pay attention. Are we listening to fear, or are we going and listening to the signs that are being presented to us, or getting distracted with obstacles? So I'll leave you with, what are you waiting for, certainty or to follow signs? And can you discern those signs? I hope you share with me, Substack, YouTube, send me a DM on Instagram. And until our next episode, have a fabulous day. If you loved today's episode, it would mean so much if you rate and review The Courage to Be on Apple Podcast. Not only does it help the show to grow, but it also gets you in the running for something amazing. Every month, I draw one lucky winner to receive a complimentary 7-night, 8-day vacation. You'll get to pick from over 3,000 beautiful resorts worldwide. You just cover the taxes and fees like you would with a travel rewards. Airfare is not included. And if you want to double your chances, along with your Apple Podcast review, leave a couple of comments on YouTube. That counts as a second entry. Just send your screenshots to help.thecouragetobe@gmail.com, and you'll find the email in the show notes too. It only takes a moment, and who knows, your next adventure might be closer than you think. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on our next episode of the Courage to Be podcast.